as I said, just a few housekeeping things, like we try to make it interactive. And remember, we are here for you. So besides, I want you to relax and be confident that you're going to find the job. I want you to know, like MCAF and other settlement organizations here, we are 7 people now. And Jessica here on the call is from Magma, from Moncton. So anyone here, even if not from not Fredericton, I want you to know we are here for you. There's coaches, there's resources, there's enough things for you to get help. And today I'm going to give you some resources, but you have to know that there's a lot more resources. When you reach out to us, we're going to able to connect you even with more things, okay? Basically what I'm going to talk about, the outline of this session is going to be the first section is going to be about how you can think strategically about your job search, right? So thinking you and the market, short-term versus long-term, okay? Oh, I have another person with AAQQ joining. Looks like it's a trend, everyone calling themselves. So the second section I'm going to talk to you about, yes, it's building the right job search assets. And when I say assets, I mean like building your CV, building like maybe cover letter, customized template for you, building like your LinkedIn, building some other job assets for you, right? So that's like the second section. And then we're going to talk about a good process for you to help you with the job search, right? And then we're going to get to practical examples. So we're going to leave a little bit the presentation. I'm going to pick up random jobs, even if any one of you want to volunteer and like tell me like, this is my situation. For example, I'm looking for this kind of job. I can approach it from, if I was you as a job seeker, how I will approach this, finding this role, okay? So when we say thinking strategically, and most people, if you look down on this screen, the way they do it, they would go on, like basically apply online, okay, right away, and then do an interview. And actually, the job search is a lot more complicated than that, and it's also simple at the same time. So can you see my the chart very well? Can you read each? Can you tell me, like thumbs up if you can read each title, because I can open up in a different screen. Can you see the titles very well, or do you want me to zoom in more?
Yeah, zoom in more would be perfect. It's very small.
So can you see now? I open it as a picture. Can you see it?
No, it's getting worse. Actually, it's smaller.
Okay.
Maybe the slideshow, it's okay. Maybe it's only me.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I can.
But it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, so maybe something else I can do. Yeah, that didn't work.
No, it's good.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just trying to figure out, maybe like there's a, yeah, I think it might be better this way. So basically, this is us here, right? Like this is, can see my screen and the slides, right?
Yes.
So basically, this is us. We start from here, job search, right? We land to Canada. Then what we have to know is basically, it's not the company or the job description, right? Or like the online search. It's basically, you have to look at it from 3 different angles. So like there's you here, there is the market, and there's resources. That's how job search work if we look at it from a big picture, right? So when we talk about you have your personality, which consists of your strength, your values, where you come from, what's your culture, right? What's aligned with you all, right? So that's you. And then, or maybe even your mental health. So like, let's say someone who is very good working with people, but in this phase of their life, they're going through depression, then they might not be able to work a job that has a lot of communication with people. So even your mental health in this context affects your job search, because in this case, if you're going through like a challenge, then the kind of jobs you should apply for is not necessarily the kind of jobs that align with your strength. Okay. Now, another part in you is your skills. And here we talk about soft and hard skills. So when we say soft skills, is that it's not only your strength as a personality. Like I am someone who have empathy, or like I'm a good listener, right? Or I'm someone who's generous, right? Because that's like more on the personal. When we talk about soft skills, something more practical in the job world. So we're talking about leadership. I can lead a team, for example. That's a soft skill, right? Problem solving. That's another soft skill. Then when we talk about hard skill, that's your technical skills. And that's basically what you build from your experiences coming from like your actual day-to-day job, right? So if you worked in an HR role or admin role, then most likely a hard skill for you would be Microsoft Office, because people who work in administration, they're very good in working with charts, tables, right? Microsoft Word and all these things, right? If you worked in technology or software development, then your hard skill in this case is going to be programming or like web design, right? Same goes with if you worked in sales or business development, then your hard skill here is going to be, for example, customer acquisition. Okay, so it's important. And this chart, you can take it, print it maybe. Like I'm going to share the presentation on our Facebook group, like MCAF Employment Services, and for email anyone who wants it, right? So you can make a list of each box in this chart, because if you don't fill all these areas, then you're just going again approach job search very randomly. And the problem with that is, again, because Canada is very fast market, so you might be losing a lot of money and time of not doing this. Why? Because imagine I land to Canada and the kind of job I want to get is something like a software engineer, right? My short term or my mind that is unemployed concerned and kind of like not in a relaxed mode is going to let me think, okay, let me just get any survival job. So let me go work in Walmart, right? Now, yes, your Walmart job might help you with some communication skills for your software engineering job, but most likely it's not. If you spend 1 year in Walmart and then after 1 year you go to talk to a recruiter or an HR manager and tell them my Canadian experience is working in Walmart, they're not going to accept that most likely for this specific role. But if I find another survival job that is maybe something doing like online surveys, for example, or another simple thing, that in a way kind of like connected to the technology world. So like from day one, whatever you do, whatever survival job you have to take, it has to be connected to your long-term goal. Or you focus from the beginning on finding like your long-term career, right? By doing a lot of networking and other things we're going to come to, right? So soft and hard skills. The number 3 of you, when we talk about just you here, is what assets do you have? So when we talk about that, we're talking about your resume, your LinkedIn. LinkedIn is super important. There's a lot of other social media, like some recruiters and some people, some companies look at your Facebook, look up you online on other things, but LinkedIn is, I would say, is number 1. That's why I put it here. Your portfolio. So like if you're someone who is a graphic designer, if you're someone who's an artist, if you're someone even a researcher who like to work in research in a university, you have to show someone what portfolio of research projects you've worked on, what kind of logos you've designed before, what kind of projects you have built before, right? So that's your portfolio. That's another asset, and it's very important. If you have a website or a blog, nowadays anyone can build a website or a blog. Like there's a lot of easy to build tools online. You can build a website, you can put a gallery, you can put your information about me, you can put some things that doesn't reflect in your resume, right? Or doesn't reflect in your cover letter. And then we have your references. So references is very important in Canada, right? And you have to have a ready list of references depending on the job you're applying for, right? So maybe if I'm applying for a research job, if I have a list with 6 contacts, 2 of them is in academia, 2 of them is in business roles, and 2 of them is references from my volunteering things. Then when I'm applying for a university, I'm going to use the 2 academic references, right? So building kind of like the reason I said you have to tackle each box of this and make a list out of it, because that's just going to make you so productive in your job search. If I have all of these assets in front of me built already, I know myself very well and I know the market very well, then I can apply for 40 jobs in maybe 3-4 hours versus 5 jobs. Once I'm going to show you some practical examples, you're going to understand more the value of this, right? So another thing, when we talk about assets, it concerns with you, it's your pitch or your objective, right? So once I figure out what's my personality, what's my strengths, what my hard skills, what assets I have, I can combine all of that and build like a paragraph about myself. This helps you put it in your resume. This helps you in your interviews. This helps you when you network with people, connect with people on LinkedIn or other places. You can always put that paragraph. So if I have that paragraph ready and I memorize it, I don't really need to prepare much for many things, right? And then you have also like things like you can build a customized template like a cover letter. You can build like a generic cover letter for yourself, and then you can use that each time just to change keywords based on the job you're applying for, okay? So everything I talked about now doesn't have to do anything with a job posting or the hiring manager or the recruiter or like how Canadian market works. Now we're done with the you part, right? After you build the you part, that's where it comes to exploring, researching, and studying the market. And in this case, we're talking about Canada, New Brunswick, Atlantic region, right? So generally, when we talk about the market, there's 3 categories here, right? The employer, and this is anything have to do with the role you see, right? So like the job description, job ad you see, that have to do with the employer. Then the second category is the trends, right? So what kind of trends exist now? Because now we know like some of the trends is like unemployment, right? There's some unemployment now. So when you do job search and you know there's some unemployment, it's not going to be the same job search, right? For example, if I know there's some unemployment, I'm not going to necessarily search for senior roles. I'm going to search for more entry-level jobs because I know. So, but what a lot of people, the reason I said people waste time and money if they don't do this, they spend 3 months, 2 months looking for senior roles, and they don't get anywhere, and then they get frustrated. They lose 3 months. But if they understand that the market, the trend currently there's some unemployment, then they know from day one, I'm gonna put my focus based on the current theme or current trend going on in the market. Another trend is the technologization, the technology of everything, right? Or a digitization, digital transformation happening. So I know, yes, for example, I know what is my soft and hard skills, but I have to, in a way, if I know that currently coding or like knowing how to use Google Docs or like online tools is important, it's a theme or a trend, then I have to I have to learn new skills to fulfill the gap I have. So maybe I am someone who is in HR and I want to look for HR roles. I have 10 years of experience coming from my home country, but my home country is not as developed as Canada. So they're not up to date with a lot of online tools. Then before I start like applying for a lot of jobs and get rejected and get frustrated or that, maybe I just should spend like 2 weeks taking some online courses about online tools, okay? Another trend, for example, is remote work. And the reason this is important is like, if you know that a lot of businesses currently is hiring remote roles, then you know that, for example, you're not buyed anymore to look for a survival job like in a retail shop or like in Walmart or like you know, like any entry level, then maybe you can apply for jobs that is in Moncton if you're in Fredericton. So again, if you don't do this, what's going to happen is someone's going to start doing job search. They're going to spend hours, not knowing that the remote work trend exists. And what's that going to why that's going to affect their productivity is because if I know that there's a trend of remote work, then I'm going to open my job search to jobs not just in Fredericton, but also Moncton, also in other regions in New Brunswick, for example. And this is just going to open up to me a lot of new opportunities. So it's important to be aligned with what's going on in the market from trends perspective, right? The third category when we talk about the market or the world versus you is what resources exist. And in this case, in Fredericton, for example, we have coaches. So like MCAF, they can provide you with coaching resources. People can help you with your CV, your resume, your cover letter, your job search, right? The Working MB also provide coaching and other organizations, right? Then you have mentors. And let me tell you like a quick tip here, right? In New Brunswick is one of the best places in the world to find mentors who are very senior people, because people here are very friendly and very willing to help. I can assure you any job, like any seniority level, let's say I'm looking for a software engineer director role, I can find a lot of software engineer directors working in amazing startups in Fredericton who's willing to give me a half-hour coffee or half-hour chat online, right? And that's an amazing resource, because if you can utilize the mentors that exist in your community, that's going to just help you get more insights. It's going to help you escalate your job search, build more networks, and like find the kind of role you're looking for a lot faster, right? The third part of the resources, we talk about resources, is the content, right? So what content out there, what articles, what videos, what webinars like this? This is a workshop, right? This is kind of like a content. What YouTube videos, and I'm going to share with you in a bit some resources so you can get an idea about how each of these boxes, each category I talked about, it translates to an actual practical, let's say, link or resource, right? And the fourth thing I would say section when we talk about resources within the market is what kind of programs exist. So there's a lot of funding, a lot of scholarships, a lot of employment help, things that you can be part of exist within your region and your city. And if you're just doing random job search without knowing about these resources, about these programs, then you might be losing so much opportunities, right? So it's important to spend some time with coaches to know what resources exist, but also to just be proactive and Google. You can easily just like put employment programs for newcomers in Fredericton on Google and look up the first 15 search results and read each one of them. That 1 hour you're going to dedicate doing that, it's going to save you so much time on your job search. Okay. Now, I know this is a bit, I tried as much as I can to put it into like this one map, this one, let's say, chart. But again, if you read it well after I send the presentation, if you look at it, each box, you build a list from that, research each element, I promise you, you're going to be so much better than majority of other job seekers who are trying to randomly do job search and just right away jump to finding like a survival job without thinking about all these things tragically. Okay. So let me just see the time. Okay, we're good. So see if there's someone trying to join. Yeah, what's going on? Okay, so I think we're good. Yep, we're good. Okay, well, nice. We have 18 people. That's amazing. So let's go back to the slideshow. So now the other thing, besides thinking strategically about all these elements together, right? We have to think about what's our short-term goal versus long-term goal. So majority of us, when we land to Canada, when we come, our short-term goal is to find any job that can get us some income, right? But the majority of us, our long-term is like to find an opportunity that fits with our previous education or previous skills or whatever is my passion or whatever is what I'm looking for, my potential career, right? So for that, it's order to understand how your profession is practiced in Canada, whether for short-term or long-term. Because if whatever job you want to take on the short term, it has to be connected with your long-term goal. Otherwise, you're going to waste a lot of time and money. Why? If I spend 2 years doing random jobs, and then the third year I'm in Canada, I'm going to start applying for the roles I want, and my 2 years I spent was not related to that long-term job, most likely I would just benefit maybe, I don't know, like in numbers, 25% of that experience I built in the first 2 years, right? So, but if you from day one thought about this, put down a list, write down all these, reflected on all these things, then whatever jobs I'm going to get on a short term, I think about it like how it can help me eventually get that role I want to get, right? And for that, you have to understand how your potential profession or your long-term profession is practiced in Canada by reading online content. So Googling app resources, talking to career coaches. You can ask your career coach, hey, I just landed, I'm looking for a part-time job because I'm a student, but I'm going to graduate in 6 months. I'm looking for an HR officer, HR admin, HR assistant position. Do you know what kind of like things I should have in mind, or what kind of roles that could lead me to this position after 6 months? So that's something you can talk with your coaches, right? Mentors, the people I talked about, they're willing to help you in Fredericton, like all the amazing, friendly people who are willing to give you free time, half hour, 1 hour to sit with you over a coffee. So if you know you want to be a communication manager, right? And I go on LinkedIn and I look at what some communications manager exists in Fredericton, and I find 4 or 5 people. I can send a message on 4 of them. Most likely 2 or at least 1 of them is going to respond to me and sit with me for a half hour, do like a Zoom online coffee, right? That half hour is going to help me know what kind of roles I'm going need to look for on the short term. It's going to help me figure out what kind of online courses I should be taking on the short term. It's going to help me, for example, I might want to take French language, like, right? But then if I talk to 3 different mentors and all of them tell me, and the coaches tell me, and I read articles, it's all is telling me that French is not a requirement for this type of roles I'm going to look for eventually, then I'm just going to waste my time if I start learning French. Okay, so it's important to get as much insights and input from different people, from different resources, and then set a plan based on that. And then also researching the labor market information. In a bit, I'm going to show you like a slide where it shows you like some resources that can help you with the labor market information to know the salaries within the type of job you're looking for, what companies hire, what kind of industries, and all that, right? The other thing when we talk about short-term, long-term is, knowing what kind of, sorry, I don't know why the mouse is, so let's go back. Yeah, so it's very important step is to know the possible titles of your job in Canada. So when I'm doing job search and I'm going on Google writing customer service job in Fredericton or in New Brunswick, I have to know what other titles Canada use for that, or what other titles companies use. And this comes from researching the market, because customer service in Canada, at least there's another 5 titles for it. I'll give you some examples. Customer experience is another title. Customer associate is another title. If I only know that customer service is the title, right? Then I'm just going to find job titles and job ads that is within that keyword. This is how the internet exists. The more you smartly know what keywords exist more, the more you're going to open up more opportunities and more job ads for you, right? So if I, from day one, before I right away jump into finding a job, make a list of what's the possible job titles that I can look for, then I can do my job search always within these different keywords, right? And that's just going to give me access again to new resources and new job ads and new job descriptions and so on. The other thing is make a list of potential, and this is like very, very important. Make a list of potential employers and connections within your area and start networking. So let me go back to this map, right? So there's a part I didn't explain yet. I was waiting to get to this point. So when we talk about the context about you versus the market and what is the employer, again, it's not only the job description. All these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different categories is something you have to look when you're looking up a job. And this is something I can promise you, most people don't look for jobs from this aspect. Most people just look for a job description and the title. Why this is important? You have to know, beside a job description, what industry fits within your previous experience and what industry you're looking for. You have to know what's location, which city, for example, which region. You have to know which sector. Is it non-profit or full profit or a startup? Because a communication manager or a software engineer or a customer service associate within a non-profit, a lot of time is very different from a startup, or is very different from working in a hospital, in healthcare. So knowing the industry, knowing the type of sector within the jobs you're looking for is very important, right? Knowing the department. So if I'm applying for, let's say, an HR position within a department that is a technology department within a company, let's say a company has 200 people, McCain, there's a lot of big businesses in Fredericton, right? So let's say there's a company, 200 employer. The department is gonna reflect, is gonna help me know a lot about the job beside the job description. So if I'm applying and I read in the points that this is within the department of, for example, training, or this is within the department of business to customers or business to businesses or partnerships versus this is just within, let's say, internal to my organization, that's going to be different. Because if you're a research engineer working with customers, like working on research about customer feedback, is going to be so much different from an engineer working within internally within the HR and within like the management and within, right? So it's important to know that differentiation. Then the seniority of the role, that's another category for important for you. I have to know, because a customer service role in Walmart, for example, I keep like giving Walmart example because a lot of people in the beginning, they start with Walmart. So a customer experience thing within Walmart, I know that most likely I'm not going to shift to like a supervisor and manager, because if you just go to Walmart, you're going to see most people working in management or working in supervision. They're like people who've been there for 10 years, 20 years, right? So if I know this insight, if I've done my research well, then I know I have a lot of leadership skills. I want to eventually get into a leadership role. My strength, my talent is leading people or like working with team of people. Then Walmart is not going to be the place for me. Why? Because I know if I work with Walmart for 3 years, yes, there might be like a small person. There might be an opportunity for me if I prove myself very well to get into a management role within that, but most likely not. So it's better for me to focus my job search, the 20 hours, 40 hours, 60 hours I'm going to dedicate from my time to look for jobs in customer service or survival jobs that is not necessarily Walmart or Sobeys or Atlantic Superstore. And trust me, there is so much entry-level opportunities and other survival jobs in other industries and in other kind of roles and other seniority levels in other sectors that is not necessarily working with Walmart. It just, you have to know about all these insights, and you have to know what resources exist, right? And the last part here is the team. If I know that one of my, this is how you connect again back your personal part, you part, and the market. If I know that the salary is not the most important thing for me, I need to work with people who are very passionate, people who like to help, people who like friendly, smile all the time, talk. Is going to be different from me working in a bank, for example. Not saying all the banks don't have this kind of people, but if this is my strength and this is my personality type, then I'm not going to look for a customer service job within a bank, right? An entry-level customer. I'm going to look for a customer service job or a customer helper, customer associate within a nonprofit, for example. So it's important to know what type of team I'm aligned with more. And again, most people, when they look for a job search, they don't put any of these elements in mind from day one, which again, eventually just gonna make them not as productive, just gonna get them into this frustration, like spending 2 years in Canada doing something random jobs, and then eventually realizing that the 2 years I've done, yes, I've learned some English, I've learned some communication, but I wish I was looking at this from all these aspects and thinking about this strategically more. Okay, so quickly, what's a typical job search process? So number one, figure out yourself, right? All these elements, building a list from doing, and I'm gonna share with you some resources on how to do a personality test, how to figure out your values, like all that you can do, and you can figure out all of this. There's free resources exist for every single box I explained in that map, right? So figure out yourself first. Then figure out the market and trends, right? And then you can also see some resources about that. Number three, build the right assets by using different resources, right? So before I go on online job search, first I have to build a good resume, right? And trust me, I've been in Canada for 3 years and I work in employment. I've talked to like maybe 100 different recruiters before, just out of curiosity. And every time I talk to someone, I figure out something I can refine or improve in my resume after 3 years. So you can always do your resume better, right? And a lot of people I noticed, like they right away jump into trying to do job search without like trying to build the best resume, trying to infuse good keywords that aligned with the job description they're trying, for example, to apply for, right? So it's important to do that. And then number four, create a list of employers from the previous slide. The way I describe it, like you have to build a list of employers that is related to your industry, related to the job titles. So if I know that my strengths are working with people, communication, leadership, maybe empathy, right? Then I know the kind of roles most likely I'm going to be aligned with is something like maybe customer service, maybe something like a trainer, maybe something like, I don't know, anything have to do with communication, marketing, sales. All these roles fits kind of like my personality and fits kind of my soft skills and maybe my previous hard skills, right? So what I do, I go on the internet and I look all different resources, labor market information, and I try to figure out what kind of businesses in Fredericton or New Brunswick and in Canada hire a lot of roles that about sales and a lot about business development. So, or I also can figure out what kind of companies, even if it's a university, like it might be, I want to work in an educational institute if I know UMB, for example, hire a lot of people to work with students, then I know UMB should be on my list. Although UMB is not a typical customer service like employer. But if I know that from day one, I add UMB to the list of my resources, right? And then number five is starting the online job search. And I'm going to give you a practical example in a bit so you can understand that. Number six, attack the job from multiple angles. So not just go and do an online, apply online, talk to the coach and just like submit an application. Try as much as you can. I'm going to show you in a bit how to network and connect with people, different people from that organization, in order for you to get your application ahead, or in order for you. And by the way, there's so much numbers and statistics that says 60 or 70% of the jobs exist, or people get hired, it doesn't advertise for. This is something called hidden job market. And this is a market that you don't see the job ads for. This is just something happened from word of mouth, or like when you're in an organization and the manager hires someone to go to the next position, right? So a hidden job market is very big in Canada, right? And then number 7 is closing the gap between your short-term versus long-term goals. So for that, if I know that I want to get to know an HR, for example, HR manager role eventually, and now I'm looking just for any HR assistant or office assistant, admin assistant on the short term, then during my short-term employability, or during my short-term job search, I have to take some, for example, Microsoft Office online courses, right? Get certified in Microsoft Office, right? And there's a lot of resources like Coursera, Udemy, and a lot of LinkedIn Learning. There's a lot of resources you can take these online courses that fits the gap between what kind of skills the employers are looking for and between what you're doing. And just a quick tip on that, the easiest way you can know what kind of skills the employers are looking for, besides reading labor market information from the government and that, just simply take your role you're looking for. Let's say you're a research engineer, right? Write down research engineer jobs in Canada. Look up 15 different job descriptions from 15 different openings currently. Look up all the section that says requirements in all job description, and look up what's the requirements, and take keywords and see a pattern between all these 15 different 10 job descriptions you look. That's going to tell you what kind of online course or what kind of certification or what kind of thing you should look for, right? So yes, get an advice from your coach, get an advice from your mentor, get an advice from a random YouTube video read online, but trust me, job descriptions, keywords are always the best way to know what's going to be required when it comes to like the trends and the market perspective, right? So we don't have much time left. So quickly, what resources exist? So each box, each category, each thing I explained today, there's many resources exist that. And again, we can help you reach out to us. I'm going to put my email in the end of this. You can reach out to me. I'm going to send you an intake form. You can fill, and then we can help you, give you more free resources. And again, you can just do a lot of Google search, be proactive, take every box title I mentioned in that map and write it down on Google and put beside it resources. And then you're going to find a lot of free search results, a lot of PDFs, a lot of videos that's going to help you. And just doing that is going to help you big time, right? So for this is something you can explore later. For figuring out yourself, I put some free assessment there. Like there's something very popular from University of Pennsylvania called the DIA Character Strength Survey. That's going to give you like an image about what kind of strength you have. There's DISC personality assessment. A lot of companies even use it, and that's going to impress the employer. If you do an interview and they ask you, like, tell me about yourself, and tell them, hey, 1, 2, 3, and then by the way, this is I'm very good in this because I've done this assessment. If an HR manager hear you talking this confidently and knowing you've done assessment before and you know yourself well, that's just gonna give you a lot more advancement in your interviews above other people. So everything I talked about is kind of like self-awareness, right? And you can ask, I don't know, any coach, like self-awareness is a huge differentiator when it comes to succeeding in your interviews, succeeding in job search. I wish I can tell you how much time and money you can save by following this process and being more self-aware. But until you do it yourself, I hope everyone really like follow this map and build a list from each something I built, because I promise you, it's just gonna help you save a lot more time and resources, right? So when it comes to labor market information along with the trends about the employers, I'm gonna put in this slide like some free resources for you. You can look up if your occupation is regulated or not. This is a link there. You can look up the cause database. That's going to give you other titles exist within your role you're looking for, so you can get some ideas about other titles. The Government of Canada Occupation Trends Analysis. It's an amazing resource that gives you a lot of analysis about how much people pay someone with your, let's say, seniority, with the kind of roles you're looking for. There's also something called trend analysis from GNB from New Brunswick. You can also look up that, right? Also, our YouTube channel has amazing resources. So we have the MCAF Employment YouTube. You can look some videos about how to build the right cover letter, some community resources. We have something called MCAF Youth Employment, also a YouTube channel where we put, for example, if you're looking to do an online application for Walmart, if your English is very low and you don't know how to use the online job application very well, you can find the video there, right? And some other videos in Arabic, English, and some other languages. This is something anyone worked with me before. I shared with them this list of what kind of job search platform exists. And you're also going to get this in the presentation. So instead of spending 1 hour, 2 hours just on using LinkedIn jobs and Google jobs and Indeed jobs, take each one of these links and spend 8 hours, 10 hours, because the more hours you spend on each of these channels and platforms, the more job ads you're going able to see, okay? And then let me just take some to see if there's questions, and then I can jump to a quick example, or maybe I can take questions and then whoever wants to stay for an extra 5-10 minutes, I can give you like, if I was a job seeker and I want to get like some role, how I'm going to do the networking part, how I'm going to look for the keywords in each description. I'm just going to give you more illustration about some of the things I mentioned. So does anyone have a question so far?
Yes. Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah. I can hear you.
I'm just want to ask you something, please. Can you listen to me?
Yeah, go ahead.
You may be, you excuse my English very poor. I'm a French speaker, not English speaker. Can I ask my question in English, in French?
I don't know if we have somebody who can translate that. Can you try to do it in English? Because your English sounds very good.
Abdullah,
yeah.
This is Danielle. I can translate if needed, or I can interpret.
Awesome, sounds good.
Yes, thank
From
you.
French.
Merci. Je voudrais savoir si les différentes stratégies de recherche d'emploi qu'il offre sont valables pour les étrangers. Merci. Donc, pour ceux qui ne sont pas encore au Canada.
Okay, ceux qui sont pas encore au Canada. So Abdullah, he's asking if these strategies for finding a job would still apply for someone who is not in the country yet.
Okay. So, by the way, just information, something there. I'm part of something called Head Start to Employment. It's a program we're trying to focus on pre-arrival. So reach out to me. I have your name here. I think I'll just put it in a note and send you an email. I'm just going to send you an email with the intake form for our Head Start Employment. We can try to provide some of these resources and help for people like you who are pre-arrival. Now, yes, this is exactly something that people should do before actually they come to Canada. So if someone build all this map and different lists and have done, they become more self-aware and have done all this research before they land, after they get approved to come to Canada, and once they land, they're going to start the job search right away, then that's just going to save them so much time and make them a lot more advanced on other people, right? And instead of they have to go through, you know, like learning about all these pieces throughout spending like months and maybe a year being there. So yes, definitely, like a lot of this apply to you wherever you are, pre-arrival, post-arrival, wherever you are.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So is there...
Hello, Abdullah?
Yes?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes,
okay.
I
yes,
can
my
hear you.
question is, thank you. Okay, thank you for your time and presentation. We've learned a lot from you. Thank you for everything. Also, I want to ask, is it ideal in Canada for an applicant to reach out to a recruiter on LinkedIn, maybe just to contact the person? If I see a job that match my profile and my CV, is it ideal for me to, because where I'm coming from in Nigeria, it's actually some recruiter can take offense in that kind of, if you reach out to them while the recruitment is going on. So is it ideal in Canada to do that? That's my question.
Definitely. You're asking, I didn't hear you very well, but I think you're asking, doing like trying to network connect with recruiters on LinkedIn. Is that something common in Canada, right?
Yes, try to reach out to a recruiter on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. So actually, I'm going to stay maybe like 10 more minutes. If anyone wants to stay, I'm going to show you how practically you can reach out to recruiters on LinkedIn, right? So do you have some time to stay, or you need to leave?
Yes, I can stay. I can stay to.
Awesome. I'm going to show you exactly an illustration of how you can use LinkedIn to do the networking part. Okay. Let's see, is there other questions for people maybe who needs to leave 3 o'clock, and you have a question now, you can put it in the chat, or you can just jump and ask the question here. Awesome. So, all right. Let's see. So I think I can jump into just, you know, before I get into the more like show you illustration of some examples. Again, I want to remember we are here for you. This is my email. You're going to see it in the presentation. In case you are not part of the MCAF employment group, join us on Facebook. If you're not even part of Facebook, or you're still pre-arrival and you don't want to join the group, you can email me and I can send you the presentation. I can send you the intake form I told you about, and then I'll try as much as I can, and other coaches here and other coaches in Magma and Moncton and other organizations, to give you free resources and other things that can help you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I will send you an email maybe tomorrow, because now it's too late in our country.
Definitely, yeah, no problem. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good night. Okay. Gyro saying thank you for all the information.
But I'm just waiting that you show us the technique. What can I say? The technique to use LinkedIn or apply for jobs.
Definitely. Okay, so I'm just going to answer quickly. Gyro, he's asking where I can see the video recording. So we're going to post this on our YouTube channel. So Gyro, check our maybe, I don't know if it's caught here, but check maybe our YouTube channel like in 1 week or 2 weeks. And also we're going to share it on the Facebook group. We have the MCAP employment services. So you can see and also the slides, I'm going to share it. So if you don't want to see the recording, just the slide. Now let's get to the example. So let's imagine, okay, that Abdullah, I'm someone who just got into Let me see. Yes, we have.
Please, 1 minute. I didn't write every the email very well, please.
You're asking about the email?
Yes, I want to write it.
This is the email. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so I want you guys to imagine. Okay, let's say I'm a job seeker, and I landed to Canada, and I want to start my job search. Now, on an example, let's say I am someone who is generally I love working with people. So a lot of my strengths. If we go back here on the me part, the you part, I know I've done these assessments, I've done some reflection, I figure out what's my soft skills, hard skills, I have a pitch, right? Like I have an objective, I know what I want, I have a short-term, long-term goals. If I build all that, then let's say I know that I am someone who I like to work with people, right? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to think what kind of skills previously I had, what kind of jobs I previously had, and what kind of things exist in the market. So if I know, for example, being a trainer, if I read well about the Canadian market, I know not many people hire trainers here. Like if you look online and you want to be an instructor or a trainer, you're gonna find a lot of jobs there, right? So I know that although trainer is an opportunity for me to work with people, I'm gonna disqualify that, right? So I'm gonna keep disqualifying things that doesn't exist in New Brunswick, Fredericton. I'm going to build a list of very focused jobs that fit me very well and also fit Fredericton and the market very well. So it's always a mix between you and the market, right? So if I figure out that there's a lot of places in Fredericton that hire people for things like customer support and customer service, right? After that, I have to think, okay, well, is my hard skills and soft skills and my personality fits better with a customer service job in a shop, or is it gonna fit more within something like a bank or within something like a healthcare, like hospital, or like a startup or like a software company? So Lumen Ultra is a good example of a business in Fredericton that hire a lot of people. It's an amazing business, but Lumen Ultra, in a case for someone like me, is not something I'm going to apply for. Why? Because they are very scientific driven, very kind of like technical organization. So I know the kind of customer service and customer support roles exist there is very technical or it's very technology, right? So because I know it's a product based, for example, business, it's not a service based business, right? So I'm going to disqualify Lumen Ultra, right? These are just two examples to show you how you can focus more, right? So let's say I build a list of 4 or 5 different employers, like MAMCAF is a good employer. Walmart is a good employer. Like, let's say the GMB is another employer. I build like a list of 6, 7 employers that hire a lot of people within my field or within what I'm looking for on the short term, not necessarily the long term. And then what I do next is I go and use all these platforms I shared with you. All these different channels to look for a specific title, right? So let's say I want to look for a customer service job in Fredericton, okay? I'm going to get to LinkedIn part, by the way, in a bit, because it's gonna come very soon. So don't worry, like Davis, you guys about the LinkedIn. So I'm going, for example, let me go on LinkedIn, Indeed, right? So, oh my God, these ads all the time. So here I can see like the title and the company and then the job description, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, for example, front desk is another title for customer service jobs or things around customer service. So if I know from beginning that front desk is another title, if I done my research well from beginning, then my next step after I look these kind of jobs, customer service, I'm gonna look front desk jobs in Fredericton, right? And that's just gonna show me a new list of resources and job ads just for like front desk, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read here the front desk guest services is within a hotel called Marriott, right? I know my long-term, for example, like goals is not working in hospitality. Are you saying, did you say something?
Yes, I said that the song, I didn't hear you for a minute.
Oh, okay. I hope you can hear me now. So
yes, I hear you.
So let's say I want to a long-term work in research or like something even within people, but in a nonprofit. Then I know Marriott is going to be kind of like irrelevant industry, irrelevant sector for my type of goals. So I'm not going to actually apply for that job. So I'm just going to look at other customer service jobs that within another industry or another job. And this is very important, right? Now, you might in the beginning think that you're trying to be very focused, or there's not, if you do all this focus and be very selective, you're not gonna find a job eventually. The answer is not. The answer, the more you are focused and the more you do your research well and get access to all these different resources and job ads and be proactive, connect, network with people, the more like you will find what you're looking for 100%, right? The thing what happens is if you miss some of these steps, you're just going to, again, as I say in the beginning, get frustrated and do something random. So let's say I like Blue Ridge Water. Okay, this job, and I read their job description. I see a lot of what they're looking for align well with my strength, with my soft skills, with what I have, the assets I've built, right? Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take them and go research the company, right? So Blue Ridge Water, right? So I can see here, there's a website, and then there's a Facebook. There's a, let me see if there's a LinkedIn. Most businesses have a LinkedIn. Okay. Okay, so if I go here, I can tell it's a small business, right? It's a 3 employees. This is on LinkedIn. Then I can see here that, oh, this is not in Brunswick. Let me take another, let me take this role, okay? For example, I like this role. And it's with Yorkville University, right? Then I'm gonna open their website. And what you can do here is you can put team beside that, right? And that's gonna show you usually their team page, right? So you can know what kind of connections you can connect with within this organization, right? But let me go on LinkedIn because I like LinkedIn. It's usually very useful. So I'm going to go on Yorkville University on LinkedIn, right? And this is everyone can access this, right? So first of all, I can see here who is from my connection works in Yorkville. So if they have an opening, then I can know, I can reach out to one of these guys, tell them, hey, I'm looking for this kind of opportunity. Do you think you know someone I can ask some questions, or do you think you can help me push my application in a way? You know, it depends on yourself, how you want to approach it. Now, if I don't know anyone, or if I know a few people, but they're not going to be helpful, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on their employees page, right? And this is going to show you basically each person with their title, right? So a very simple thing you can do, and I'm going to give you like a hack or like a quick tip. If generally, if you want to connect to someone, you can press connect and add the notes. Here, you don't have to send them a message right away. You can do that for free and connect with anyone. You can tell, for example, hi, Carolina. I noticed, for example, you guys are hiring an administration assistant role. I would love to know a bit about the role more, because a lot of what I did in the past, including my skills, soft and hard skills, align very well with your opening. Do you think you have a 15 minutes or 20 minutes sometime this week or next week for a chat with me? Or maybe if not you, someone else within that department of opportunity that I can talk to. And if you do this for 10 people, and 10 people, it won't take you more than 20 minutes connecting with like 10 people, at least you're gonna get 3-4 responses, right? And these 3-4 responses, 2 of them, they might meet with you. 1 of them might hire you, or 1 of them might be that connection that's gonna get you to what you're looking for. Okay, so the hack I wanted to say to you, if you, oh shit, sorry. So I just withdraw. I connected with her by mistake. So if you want to connect with someone, you don't want to send them a request, you just want to send them a message, LinkedIn Premium offer you like free messages. You can sign up for LinkedIn Premium for 30 days, for a month free, for anyone, always for free. So if you're doing a job search, take advantage of that, sign up for LinkedIn Premium, and it's gonna help you so much. You can take with LinkedIn Premium, that free month, you're gonna take as much LinkedIn courses you want. You can send messages to people that are connecting with them. You can see insights and trends about what's going on in the market, and so many other things. Okay. Now, do you have any question? Let me see if I have a question. Okay, so I have CS, so I have a line. Do you guys have any question about this example or this technique or the way I did it? Even if someone here is looking for a certain role, I can, if you want, I can write it down in the chat, and I can show you how you can tackle your job search in based on your current situation or your current context. So you can put it in the chat, you can tell me exactly, this is me, I'm looking for this, and I can give. We can do one more example like this, and then we can end the session. Awesome. So Flor is saying accountant, right? And or bookkeeping part-time. So I like, first of all, Flor, thank you for the question. I like that you said bookkeeping or accountant. That means you know a bit about the market, right? Because if you just know that accounting and you just look for accounting roles, then you're missing all the bookkeeping opening happening, right? So this is a good demonstration of how knowing different keywords or different job titles for your job is super useful, right? So there's okay. Okay. Let me answer your question quickly, Sayed, and then I'm gonna demonstrate to Flor how I'm going to do a job search for the accountant part-time role she's looking for. So does getting diploma in Canada improve my chances to get a job? It's very contextual to, I cannot just answer you. Like if I have your map in front of me and I have all these pieces together, I can see what's your previous education, what's your soft skills, hard skills, what kind of roles you're looking for, what's your long-term, short-term goals. If I know exactly a lot of things about you and I see it in front of me in a map, maybe in a different list, you can send it that to me, then I can answer that question for sure. But generally, if you have a Canadian education, whether it's a diploma or a degree, master's, bachelor's, like a postgraduate certificate, diploma, whatever it is, 6 months, 8 months, 2 years program, that's always an additional positive thing. So yes, if you've done your research on the U part in that map, and you figure out the gap between the kind of roles you're looking for and where you are now is a diploma or a certain kind of like courses, then yes, while you're doing some job search, like 3 hours a day, dedicate 2 hours every day, 3 hours more, take a course in that or do that diploma, right? Or maybe just focus 2 months, do that diploma, finish it full-time program like this, and then after that, do your job search. Remember, again, if you are living in this circle of you're just thinking, very concerned, like you just want to get some income and get any job, survival job, when you land all that, that might help you for like a part-time income for 1 month, but it might really, you're gonna have to pay the consequences of that for 2 years upcoming, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's okay to save it, like don't spend a lot of money, maybe like save a little bit more, wait 1 to 2 more months, work on this self-awareness part, work with coaches, explore some resources, and then start going for, jobs, right? So accountant, part-time jobs in Fredericton. Accounting, part-time jobs in Fredericton. I have a light here, so I can't see this well. Okay, so Glassdoor is another channel or platform I like to look for jobs, and I put it in the resources. So LinkedIn, let's take an example of Glassdoor and LinkedIn. So let's say I'm looking for a part-time accountant. So I go on, let me see here. I can see seasoned customer service, accountant, and special project manager, Canada, work from home. I know this is full-time for sure. Accounting clerk. Okay, let's see this one. So I have to sign in.
Oh, you're muted, Abdullah.
Okay, yeah, I think now it's good. So I'm going to look for part-time here in the filters on LinkedIn. And I apologize for Glassdoor, I don't know what's going on. There's a bug on the website, so that's why I shifted to LinkedIn. So I'm going to look for, yes, location. So I'm going to put Fredericton, okay? And I don't know why Moncton. Okay, so here we go. Bilingual, I don't speak French, it's gonna work. I don't know if you speak French, Flor, but let's say you don't. And oh, okay. Oh, you are unlucky. It's not showing me. Okay, okay. Let's try with Indeed. And this is why it's important to use different platforms, because as you saw on LinkedIn, it only showed me 6 results and Fredericton for accounting job. And if I don't know about all these other resources exist, then I'm going to get frustrated or think there's no other jobs. But if I try all these different platforms, then I'm going to get there eventually, right? So I see here there's something called intermediate accountant with something called Midjourney, right? So now, most likely, it looks like this is a full-time opportunity, right? There's two ways for me to tackle this. One is keep looking on other platforms until I find some part-time opening for accountant, or if I know myself well and I know what I want and I know that Midjourney, for example, is okay, I read about it and I see they are a manufacturing company, right? And I know that, for example, I have some engineering background, right? Because businesses who do manufacturing, they like to work with engineers. That's just an example of knowing all these insights, right? And this comes from, again, the doing research about the trends and the markets, right? So I know that what I have, some of my volunteering opportunity, I might worked with an engineering firm before as a volunteer. My husband might be, for example, Flora, your husband might be like someone who is an engineer. If I have any connection to kind of like engineering because they do manufacturing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to talk to people in that business, and my opening or the way I'm going to connect with them is using my own strengths, my own previous skills, and my own previous volunteering, whatever. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go on Midjourney, LinkedIn again, okay. Open the company page. Okay, I see here they have 60 employees, right? If I go on People tab, this again, it's another way to show you the department or the team. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for people in finance, right? So I either can search for like someone with a finance in their, exactly. So you see, I can filter the results here by finance, for example. And it's going to show me like the people there who work in the finance within that company. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open all these different profiles, floor, okay. I'm going to research, to look up each person and read about them and see if that person and me, there's any kind of like mutual things. It could be that we both like to same hobby. It could be we both studied in the same university. It could be we both are extroverted. Like you can look at someone profile and you can tell they like someone who like to talk a lot and very, you know, maybe like someone who is very people person. And if you are like this, then you know that's a mutual thing. I can look at them and I can tell, for example, they are someone who speak my language or they come from the same background I come from. So if I'm like Davis, he said from Nigeria, and I know that this person speaks Nigerian or come from Nigeria, then I know that's something mutual. So what I'm going to do, let's assume that Finnegan is from Nigeria. That's an example, right? That's one example. Another example, I can talk with Finn and tell him, hey, we have 3 different mutual connections, right? That's another entrance for me. Number 3, I'm gonna look him and see what kind of things he's done. He's done an MBA. I'm someone who loves business. So I can always tell him, for example, connect, customize a connect, right? I don't know, say, hi, Finnegan. I noticed that you have an MBA. It's always great to connect with people passionate about business. I am myself as well. I'm passionate about business, or I am myself a newcomer who worked with a lot of MBAs, or I had an MBA, or like my husband is an MBA and he always tell me insights about MBA. Whatever you want to frame it, between that mutual thing, you and them, and tell them, the second part is like, do you have some time to chat about an opening within your organization? That's one thing. Another thing you can do, if you don't want to really, if you want to be very smart, and this is very, if you're not on a hurry to find a job right away, just a survival job, you can do a lot of that without actually asking people for, like as a mentor. So for example, I can connect with Finnegan and I can tell him, I'm looking to eventually to do my MBA in UMB at Fredericton. Do you think we can connect for a half hour so you can give me some advice about if MBA is the right program for me? Or I might tell them, hey, is it okay if you can give me some advice if an accounting part-time job would be something that going to benefit me for my long-term accounting manager, for example, job? And if you do that with 5-6 people, you're building connections, you're getting insights, you're like you're exchanging, it's going to benefit you in so many different ways. So that's just like a quick example. I hope I was helpful there. Sorry, it's already 3:30, we're a half hour past, but I wanted to give you some extra examples because I think a lot of the pieces I explained, it's something overlooked by many people. And if we really try to work as proactively as we can on these things, I promise you, you're going to find a job eventually and the type of job you're looking for.